the wild colonial boy. From Ireland to Australia, the law he did destroy. Through New South Wales he wandered, his spirit never tamed. Old Jack Donahue, they long recall his name. Old Jack Donahue. Born on Irish soil, transported o'er the sea. In chains they brought him to the shore, but soon he would break free. The hills became his kingdom, the bush his only home. With pistols by his side, through wilderness he'd roam. The troopers sought to catch him, rewards upon his head. You'll never take me living, bold Donahue had said. The wild colonial boys, his loyal band of men, defied the law's harsh judgment again and again. Donahue, the wild colonial boy. From Ireland to Australia, his spirit never tamed. Through New South Wales he wandered, the law he did destroy. Old Jack Donahue, they long recall his name. Old Jack Donahue.
Hello, welcome to the Convict Diaries. Today we will look at John Donahue, also known as Donahoe, and known as Jack Donahue, and Bold Jack Donahue. Donahue was an Irish-born bushranger in Australia between 1825 and 1830. He became part of the notorious Wild Colonial Boys.
Here we go. John Jack Donahoe, a notorious Australian bushranger, began his life of crime in Dublin. Convicted of intent to commit a felony on April 3, 1823, he was sentenced to life transportation to Australia. He arrived in D.I.'s Sydney Cove on January 2, 1825, aboard the Anne and Amelia. Initially assigned to John Pagan in Parramatta, Donahoe's labor assignments shifted, including a stint in a road gang, before he was placed under the care of Major West, a Parramatta surgeon with an estate at Quakers Hill. John Donahue's life of crime began in his youth. He was born around 1806 in Dublin, Ireland. As an orphan, he quickly learned to survive by pickpocketing. Later, he involved himself in burglary. This path led to his 1823 conviction for intent to commit a felony. He was held on the HMS Surprise, a convict hulk, in Cork. Afterward, he was transported to Australia on the Anne and Amelia, arriving in Sydney in January 1825 with 200 other convicts. His dark humor was shown when, upon being shown his cell at Carter's Barracks, he said, "A home for life." His introduction to the Australian penal system was brutal, with 2 separate sentences of 50 lashes. Escaping from the Quakers Hill farm, Donahoe joined forces with George Kilroy and William Smith to form the Strippers, a gang that terrorized the region. Their method was straightforward. They stripped wealthy landowners of their valuables, including clothing, cash, and food. The gang's success was aided by sympathetic servants who frequently supplied them with intelligence, sustenance, and refuge. Robert Hoddle, a government surveyor, recorded a tense encounter with Donahoe in his New South Wales diary, offering a glimpse into the bushranger's notoriety during the 1820s.
Another time near the same place, the junction of the Bringelly and Cow Pasture roads, the notorious Donahue nearly got me. I had dismounted from my horse to remove some shifting rails, being a shortcut through the bush to Prospect Hill, the residence of a friend, Mr. Lawson. I remounted my horse double quick, and most unceremoniously left the rails on the ground, and lost no time to be out of sight. He was accompanied by another bushranger.
Donahoe's descent into bushranging began on December 14, 1827, when he and 2 accomplices, Kilroy, also known as Kilray or Gilroy, and Smith, robbed bullock drays along the Sydney-Windsor Road. Donahoe and his gang were swiftly arrested and faced trial in the Supreme Court in February 1828. On March 1st, after being found guilty on 2 counts, Judge John Stephen delivered the death sentence. While Kilroy and Smith met their end on the gallows on March 24, 1828, Donahoe, with remarkable audacity, slipped through the grasp of the law during his transfer from court to jail. For the next 2.5 years, Donahue became the most infamous bushranger in the colony. Leading a gang that included figures like Weber, Walmsley, and Underwood, he terrorized a vast region, ranging from Bathurst in the south to Yass, east to the Illawarra, and north through Cumberland County to Wallambi, near the Hunter River Valley. Government notices, offering a $20 reward for his capture, described him as a 22-year-old, 5'4" man with a freckled complexion, flaxen hair, blue eyes, and a scar under his left nostril. Following his daring escape from custody on March 1, 1828, after receiving a death sentence for robbing bullock drays on the Sydney-Windsor Road, Donahue became a fugitive. While Kilroy and Smith were hanged on March 24th, Donahue fled into the bush. Donahue soon joined forces with other outlaws, targeting isolated farms around Bathurst. The government, determined to restore order, deployed reinforcements and Aboriginal trackers. A confrontation ensued, resulting in 1 bandit's death and 3 captures. These 3 were hanged on December 22, 1828. Donahue returned to familiar territory near Windsor and continued his criminal activities. In March 1829, he and John Walmsley murdered settler Mr. Clements on the Hunter River. He then became a prominent figure in the Wild Colonial Boys, a loosely organized gang of 12 to 15 men. Donahue's cunning quickly elevated him to equal standing with the gang's existing leaders, Underwood and McNamara, who were known for their audacity and desperation. The gang operated in small groups, raiding settlements and plundering property from Bathurst to Yass and from the Hunter region to the Illawarra. In 1829, the government issued notices offering a $20 reward for Donahue's capture, describing him as a 22-year-old with a freckled complexion, flaxen hair, blue eyes, and a scar under his left nostril. A year later, the reward increased to $200. The gang employed tactics such as ambushing travelers and raiding homes when settlers were absent. They even attacked toll houses. Donahue's strategy of targeting wealthy individuals earned him support among poorer settlers, who provided false information to the police and sheltered them. The government responded by authorizing house searches and offering rewards, pardons, and land grants to those who captured Donahue, McNamara, or Underwood. Another time, near the same place, the junction of the Bringley and Cow Pasture roads, the notorious Donahue nearly got me. I had dismounted from my horse to remove some shifting rails, being a shortcut through the bush to Prospect Hill, the residence of a friend, Mr. Lawson. I remounted my horse double quick and most unceremoniously left the rails on the ground and lost no time to be out of sight. He was accompanied by another bushranger.
Police apprehended McNamara and Dalton. During a shootout, McNamara was killed and Dalton was captured. Dalton was subsequently hanged on June 28, 1830, for the robbery of John Ellison. Donahue then eliminated Underwood, reportedly, because he was keeping a diary of the gang's exploits, which Donahue considered a liability. On September 30th, a police party encountered Donahue, William Weber, and John Walmsley. In the ensuing gun battle, Donahue was killed. Weber and Walmsley escaped. Walmsley was captured on January 5, 1831, and later pardoned in exchange for providing evidence against his accomplices. Weber was captured on January 14th and hanged on July 18th. In a shootout that occurred in the Bringley Scrub, near Campbelltown, New South Wales, on the late afternoon of September 1, 1830, bushranger John Donahue was killed by a shot fired by trooper John Muckleston. The incident followed a heated confrontation with soldiers and police, during which Donahue is said to have displayed extreme defiance, using insulting and profane language. Donahue was hit in the left temple and neck and died instantly. The Sydney Sao Gazette, on behalf of all respectable citizens, rejoiced at Donahue's death. Smoking pipes were made in the shape of Donahue's head, including the bullet holes in his forehead, and were bought and smoked by the citizens of Sydney. Despite his criminal activities, Donahue's audacity earned him a degree of popular admiration. Known as Bold Jack Donahue, pronounced Donahue. His name became legendary, rivaling later bushrangers like Ben Hall and Ned Kelly. A testament to his notoriety, a Sydney tradesman produced clay pipes molded in his likeness, complete with a bullet hole. While his body lay in the morgue, Sir Thomas Mitchell created a striking pencil drawing of Donahue's head and shoulders, accompanied by a line from Byron. "No matter, I have bared my brow, fair in death's face before and now." Donahue's story was immortalized in numerous ballads, some of which continue to circulate orally. Notably, he is believed to be the inspiration for the iconic Australian folk song, The Wild Colonial Boy. The song's various iterations, featuring characters like Jim Doolin and Jack Dubbin, all seem to preserve the initials of the original. Bold Jack Donahue. Thank you for joining me today as we went through the escapades of the Wild Colonial Boy. See you next time.